Hi there, I'm Dan Wilson. I'm a marketplaces expert and I'm the author of Make Serious Money on eBay UK, Amazon and Beyond, a guide to selling on marketplaces. And I was really pleased to speak at the Startup Show in January for Enterprise Nation. And this video is just going to recap some of the major points I made during that talk. So when we're thinking about marketplaces, well, of course, we're thinking about the usual eBay and Amazon to name the big players, Etsy. But there's also many others out there to choose from. And that's, in a sense, one of the key points I want to make today, key takeaway. If you're a product-based startup, then online marketplaces really are the easiest place to sell direct to consumers. If you wanted to, you could get going and started on that right away, right now. You could have items for sale on some marketplaces within the hour. So that makes them super approachable and also much easier than setting up your own website. You should absolutely have your own website and you should sell through other channels and market on social, etc. But marketplaces are the really easy starting point. The second key point I really do want to make at this time is if you've thought about marketplaces in the past and decided they're not for you, I suggest you have another look because the environment's changed out there quite a lot in the last few years. There are dozens and dozens of marketplaces available now all over Europe, and you'll find them in the Enterprise Nation Marketplaces Guide, which we'll tell you more about later. But some of the trends in marketplaces that are worth thinking about. We're seeing very many more niche marketplaces, whether that's different verticals, different products. You've got lots of dedicated health and beauty marketplaces where that's all they sell. Retro fashions, insects for feeding your reptiles, Lego, you name it, it's out there. Food and drink is another growth area. So there's lots and lots of niche marketplaces rather than one size fits all that are emerging. So if you've thought about it in the past and thought, well, there's nothing there for me, there probably is now. The second thing we're seeing is that brands are starting marketplaces. So to give two examples, Boots the Chemist and Superdrug, high street health and beauty brands, they are now opening marketplaces on their own website. They're selling their own stuff, but they're bringing 3P, third-party sellers on board to increase their product range, see new products, maybe the things you've invented, and they're putting them alongside those and selling them on their marketplace. It's an exciting development. And then what we're also seeing, alongside the niche marketplaces, are curated marketplaces. Marketplaces that want really good sellers, really good products, and they're not taking any old riffraff or everyone who comes along. They want really quality stuff. So if you've discarded marketplace as an idea in the past because you don't think there's something that suits your high brand values, that's probably changed too. So let's talk about, in general terms, the marketplace experience. What are you getting? What do they do? What do they offer? And I think that if you've ever tried to set up your own brand, your own website, your own e-commerce shop, you'll know that this is really quite hard. And what marketplaces do is take quite a lot of the hard sting out of it. So they have a brand that's probably very recognisable to people, or at least recognisable to people who are going to be shopping. And they do marketing and advertising. I mean, organisations like eBay and Amazon and Etsy are brilliant at marketing and advertising their marketplaces. So they market their brand, they market their marketplace, advertise it, and they bring buyers to you. So that's in essence what a marketplace sells. It sells buyers, but it comes with it some responsibility. You have to abide by the rules of a marketplace and also pay the fees. Now, the fees can be quite onerous in some examples, and some of the rules are quite tricky to obey, and some of the marketplaces are not that helpful, shall we say. They can be a hanging judge, and you can find very quickly that you're banished from a marketplace if you're not performing to the high standards that they have in mind. There's other things that marketplaces offer, though, to take this thing out of that. They'll usually process the payments, and they'll offer security and safety measures that you probably wouldn't be able to deal with. And in the event of problem, sometimes there'll be the offer of mediation uh, that you can use if there's a problem. So I think when you're looking at the marketplaces, don't just think about one. Where's the one place that you can sell? The great thing about marketplaces is you can go multi-channel, and you can go multi-channel quite quickly. And to make that easier, there's multi-channel software out there, the likes of Linworks, Channel Advisor, all sorts. So you can manage stock control and make sure that you don't sell stuff that you don't have using that software. That will also offer some accounting and other marketing options. Sometimes that multi-channel software is out there. So what I'm appealing to is, if you're going to sell on marketplaces, sell on multiple marketplaces. Because once you start actually selling on one marketplace is much like another. It's the same thing. I like to call it source, sell, send, repeat. That's an e-commerce business in 4 words. So how do you go about choosing a marketplace? And the answer is, there's no right answer to this. This is how you must approach it, in a sense, by doing what's best for you. But what I do think is quite useful is to make a plan. And that can help you inform your decisions of choosing from the great many marketplaces there are. You start with some basic points. What is it you're selling? Are you allowed to sell it on a particular marketplace? Does it serve the geographies that you want to sell to? And take it from there. But it's understanding your business really that's critical. You want to create a unique plan for your business and understand what it is you want from the marketplace itself. It's not all or nothing. Marketplaces can flex, they can change, you can utilize them in different ways. You don't have to sell all the time on one marketplace, or you can look to other marketplaces in particular times of the year, say Christmas. It depends. And once you've thought about your plan and what you want from marketplaces, test and learn. That's the best thing to do. Look at the numbers, crunch the numbers, use the analytics tools that the marketplaces tend to offer, and see what's working, what's not working. If it's not profitable, stop doing it. And also, again, think multi-channel. Can you find efficiencies across different platforms and get better margins? Sometimes you can sell something on one marketplace for more than on another marketplace. It's odd. And especially marketplaces where you can improve your listings, hone your listings. This is particularly true on eBay, where spending time honing and improving your photographs, your descriptions, your titles can mean you have greater prominence in search. One of the most important things, and this is true usually across all marketplaces, is that having successful sales of a particular product is a real boost to you in search. So that's distinct from catalogue-based marketplaces such as Amazon, where you put your products up for sale, but actually everybody's got the same description, everybody's got the same photograph, everybody's got the same specifications of the product, unless it's unique to you, which you can do on Amazon, of course, own your own SKU. But sometimes your work in crafting good listings on some marketplaces is your competitive edge. So think about that when you're making your plan. Are you brilliant at photography? Have you got an innovative way of showing off what it is you're selling? When you think about marketplaces, I'd offer some sort of cautions. It's not all wine and roses out there. The first thing I'd say is that sometimes, quite legitimately, what a lot of startups worry about marketplaces is whether they can really let their brand sing and really personalise the experience. It's not always possible, and it depends very much on the marketplace. But seeing as a great deal of your company value lies with the brand, check that a marketplace can let you express your brand and doesn't damage or diminish your brand value over time. There's also, on marketplaces, a risk of being binned, of being fired. If you don't perform well, or a marketplace might decide they don't want to stock what you're selling anymore. For instance, the big brand in Europe, Zalando, has recently been having a clear out of sellers. These sellers have been performing perfectly well, but they're just streamlining their product and product range. So people who have relied on the marketplace suddenly have nowhere to go. So, eggs and baskets, not the same one. Where possible, for it's a risk. And then there's also the fees and the rules. Their house, their rules, and just keep an eye on those. Fees do seem to be creeping up across the board, which is the last thing you want during a cost of living crisis, and it eats directly into your margin. So very often a marketplace might not be offering you any more, but might be charging you a lot more than it used to. So just keep a watchful eye on that. So before we finish up, don't forget to find out more and download the Enterprise Nation Marketplaces A to Z guide that we've produced. There's so much to choose from, so much new that's out there. But let's think about the future a bit for a moment before the end of the video. I just encourage you to look around. New marketplaces are emerging all the time, and existing marketplaces are changing all the time. So what was true yesterday might not be true today. So have a look again. There's all sorts of fascinating things that might yet happen. There's always talk about a Shopify and Google marketplace play. We don't know whether that will happen. There's still huge amounts of possibility for e-commerce and marketplaces within the Facebook family, the Meta family, whether that's on Facebook itself, on Instagram, or possibly something involving WhatsApp. Who knows? They're all owned by Zuckerberg, or run by Zuckerberg. So there's a massive potential there. eBay, is it fighting back? It sometimes seems as though it might be. But that does offer a very flexible opportunity. And also Amazon. Amazon's changing and developing all the time, still the biggest player in the Western world when it comes to marketplaces. So I hope this video has been useful. I strongly encourage you to explore what marketplaces can do for startups, because it could be extraordinarily powerful. Always crunch the numbers, don't do anything for vanity, and I wish you all the best of luck. And if you want to stay in touch with me, here are my contact details. Cheers.